Did you ever stop to think how much leisure time you really have? Some of us put our leisure time to good use. And some of us, Ken Michaels, for example, spend most of our leisure time just moping.
Moping? He thinks I'm moping. Well, who wouldn't mope? There's nothing to do, nobody's around. You know how it is. I went down to the bowling alley, went over to the drugstore. None of the gang was there. All my friends are busy, so what's for me to do?
Do you suppose Ken has more leisure time than his friends do?
Huh? Well, no, I don't have more time. We all spend about the same amount of time in school, and the rest is leisure time. I've got nothing to do but wait for supper. My friends have more things to do. They're lucky.
Ken's pretty lucky, too.
Listen to that. All right, I'll bite. Why am I lucky?
Because you have so much leisure time. Time in which you can do things you enjoy. Time in which you don't have to work.
Like this, huh? Is that good?
Let me show you a few things. Suppose you had lived 100 years ago.
I do be moping, yes.
Excellent. Once again, we're opening the live stream with a chat frame that doesn't work. What other surprises are in store today? Okay, you all know the drill.
Oops.
Everyone knows the drill. Yeah, you all know the drill. You know the drill. You know the. Excellent.
We're getting faster at these OBS resets though.
I'm like so used. I know exactly what moves to make. I know the frame. I can do the frame one cancels. I can do the animation. I know which animations I can cancel, you know. I know how to get exactly right to the I know how to catch the bus, you know, on the way out of the level. I'm just like, it's getting faster and faster.
We back.
Yeah, welcome back everyone. Yeah, I'm getting much faster at these OBS resets. I also know what the problem. I also like I know I have my log out to see what's happening to it, and like the moment there's like, I know it's dying when the moment I see like orange and red text, because normally the log is like white and it's white text like this happened, you did this, and then this thing happened. And I look at it sometimes, and or rather whenever I have just a feeling that something's wrong, I open up the log, or rather I have it open, I just glance at it and it's orange and red text. I'm like, oh, okay, that means the thing is crashing. I remember looking it up a while ago because this is a problem before debut. I remember looking it up, and the explanation was that it was a driver crash. I think it was either it was like a graphics card crash or whatever. Basically your GPU was bad. And because, you know, integrated graphics and all that. If these words don't mean anything to you, it's okay.
Librarian learns tech.
Yeah, they don't mean anything to me too. So if it doesn't mean anything to you, don't worry about it. It doesn't mean anything to me either. What it does mean is when I see bad, scary color, I close the software and I open it again and I cross my fingers and I hope it works. That's what happens. That's what that means. That's what that means. But anyways, welcome to the stream that is half an hour late because I just got up like an hour ago because I stayed up last night to write a draft for the introduction to my thesis, and because I have a meeting.
I am half
soon.
an hour late, and it seems that I didn't miss out anything.
Okay, I'm half an hour late too, so that means we're
rolling
both
on the floor laughing,
on time.
rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing.
That means we're both on time and no one's late. Isn't that wonderful? That's like such an ideal world. No one is late. No one is late because we're all late, and when we're all late, nobody's late, right? Yeah. So if you're wondering why the stream is delayed, it's because that And also because did you know it's actually inconsistency week? Yeah. I bet nobody told you that. I bet I'm the only one who told you that, because you know it's inconsistency week. It's in the spirit of things, right? But it's actually inconsistency week this week, which is why like what I posted earlier this week, the schedule for my live streaming, like I have gone back on all of them. I have unlisted the Trolley Problem Inc. stream. I did a
Yesterday's
surprise stream.
was the first inconsistency.
Yeah, it technically was, but I also unlisted the Trolley Problem stream, so there was like the Inc. stream, so there was there from there. All right, shut up for a second. All right, okay. Yeah, so I enlisted the stream on Tuesday. I did a surprise gotcha stream on Wednesday that was not scheduled. This stream today has been half an hour late, and the stream in 2 days, the one that's the Tears of the Kingdom stream, has now been replaced, hopefully if I can get it to work, as an Elden Ring stream. So all in all, I have lied about every single thing I've put on this week for the live stream schedule. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that great that we can celebrate inconsistency week together? Every week is not every week. Most weeks are that would be in poor spirit, right? Most weeks are inconsistency week, actually. Did you know that? Did you know that? You didn't know that. I knew that, and that's why I'm the only one telling you. Again, in the spirit of things, I would be the only one telling you, right? Because if everyone else was also telling you that, then it would be too consistent. So that's why I'm the only one telling you this. Anyways, happy inconsistency week, everyone. We're here today to shit on the trolley problem. Now, I was debating with myself for a second on the YouTube, the thumbnail and the title of the stream, and you know what it would be, and I was like wondering if I can say shitting. Like, can I say shitting on the trolley problem? Do I have to censor it? Do I have to use the fancy font? You know what I have to do? And then I thought, why does that matter? Why am I thinking about that? I have 60 subscribers. I have 66 subscribers, which, by the way, I think I lost one. I'm gonna get into that later, hold on. But I have like 66 subscribers. No one cares what I title my streams. And if YouTube like doesn't push it because, or for whatever reason, it blacklists me because I use the word shit, then like then it's gonna be a lot worse when they actually peer into the content within the stream, right? So I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll do that. Fuck it. Is it because you streamed HSR? Maybe it's because the gods have cursed me because I streamed HSR. I'm doing the chat was spamming the bad to the bone riff, and the librarian didn't notice for like 10 minutes because tech issues meant he didn't hear it. The bad to the bone riff, like they were spamming it as like a sound file. That would be interesting. I've been experimenting with spoilers for you guys here. I've been experimenting with trying to enable sound effects, or like certain little sound bits that you guys could play through chat, like through typing something in chat to get Parrot to like play it for like the stream, and I would also hear it. But I don't know how to implement it without screwing over the Parrot just reading out the chat message, because maybe you input a command in, right? And then Parrot would do the command, but I think he would also then read the command out loud. And I can't do that without disabling Parrot reading chat messages, so I'm trying to find a way to work it together. But yeah, no, just a little sneak peek teaser for you guys up ahead. Gillar taking over. Maybe I can have that as a sound. Again, I wish I had a soundboard. Anyways, I can't wish for a soundboard if I don't even have a proper computer that won't crash the chat window. So, well, these beggars can't be choosers, right? 1,000 subscribbles. Let's go. Let me see. I could get right into it. I can get right into it, shooting on the trolley bomb. We can also talk about, we can just chat. Pretty chill. What's it looking like today? Okay, there's like 7 people here, so I shouldn't yap too much. I should just get into the main content, and then once you get the main content, you're allowed to leave. You know, I've fulfilled my obligation and duty to be honest about my title and thumbnail, and then I'll just start yapping about other things. Okay, so Hello everyone, I'm Karis Euphonor, and on Tuesday, which is Tuesday, that's the 18th. It's the 18th of June. I had scheduled, or rather I scheduled it on the previous day, and then I streamed it on the 18th, a live stream for the game Trolley Problem Inc. Let me just there you go. Let me just put the right punctuation in there, because I believe it's like there's a comma here and a period here. Wonderful. Okay. Trolley Problem Inc. was a game I streamed on Tuesday, 18th of June. And the reason you don't see it on this channel is because I've had to unlist it. Now, you know, the streams here are rough. It's been a week and a half since my debut and the beginning of my streaming career, whatever that may amount to. And you know, things have been bad. I've had double music occur for like a solid 20 minutes on my debut. The entire Hades 2 stream, first Hades 2 stream, I was just crying and like sobbing, and like there was just spit on the microphone. It was just really bad. The stream after that was also just more crying and screaming, and also me playing the game and not providing commentary, because I'm just so enamored and wowed by the game itself that I'm just providing no value being there. It's bad. What I'm trying to say is the first week of, and then, you know, the Tears of the Kingdom stream, my audio noise gate was cutting off too many of the things I said, so you would just hear half the sentence every time I said something, and you guys in chat were way too nice to me, so you didn't say anything about it. But like looking back, it was pretty bad. So next time if something like that happens, please just be rude to me and tell me, hey Karis Euphonor, this stream is unwatchable because of this. Fix it now. And like, you know, I need, so I can fix it now, you know, like that's so that's like, that's what happened, right? All in all is to say, my streams haven't been good, you know. I'm not saying the streams you didn't notice. Okay, well that's good that you didn't notice, but like I went back to watch the VOD. Maybe it's a VOD thing, but I went back to watch the VOD and it happened, and it was not the case for other VODs, so it was, you know, something I had to deal with. All is to say that the streams are not very good. And I'm aware, I know the streams are not very good. They're getting better though, and I'd like to think that I am improving on them. Now, but there's no reason to unlist them. And a lot of VTubers that I really enjoy, other than like the big corporate ones, because the big corporate ones, it's like they have a lot of prep for it, and so they don't. But usually live streamers, VTubers, especially VTubers, but also just people who make content in general, they tend to private or unlist some of their earlier work, understandably, right? But I try not to do that. I try to just have it all out there for me and for everyone. So for me, I can see, you know, how much better things get, how much better they improve, or how much they stagnate, how much they don't, right? And for people, it's fun to go back, and I don't want to, if I've done it live, there's no reason for me to, you know, not have it out there, generally speaking. Until Tuesday, I streamed Trolley Problem Inc. And I'll tell you this, I'm going to drop the kayfabe, I'm going to drop the character and tell you this, okay? I played Trolley Problem Inc. Going into it, I knew that what the game was about, and it was about various absurd trolley problems and these kind of pop philosophy issues. And I knew I was going to shit on it, but I knew it was going to be in jest, because I knew what was going to be the humor of the stream would be that I'm taking the problems too seriously, whereas the game is trying to satirize it and make fun of it, and, you know, to just poke it in jest. And the crux of the joke is I'm supposed to be frustrated because I can't understand the joke, right? That's the joke in the stream was going to be that. All right, I'm going to drop the character and just tell you what that is, and because I think it's really important you understand where this is coming from. So I was anticipating going into it to shit on it. I entirely knew that was the objective. I knew what I was going to do, but I also knew I was going to continue playing and, you know, get through the game. What I didn't expect was for the game to be genuinely pretty bad, like genuinely just kind of a bad game in its design and its consistency and its humor, in its attempt at educational moments, and like it was just such a jumbled mess, on top of having incredibly tasteless, crass things that it did, that my fake frustration in the stream, or not, it was not fake, it's like real frustration. I'm really frustrated about this, but the frustration was like just not at the game, it was at what the game was like presenting to me, right? So it was, you know, it's kind of like if you play Elden Ring and you're like, fuck this game is horrible. You're not really saying I don't want to play the game anymore. You're saying this boss is like really whooping my ass and it doesn't feel good, but it also kind of feels good because it's kind of weird when you play Dark Souls. You're kind of like okay, yeah, you get it. I'm not gonna go into that further. You understand. Someone said I watched the Zelda stream half asleep and with half my attention on class. Most streams I listen like that, just so many techies are just hallucinations. I appreciate you being here, but please pay attention in class. Please pay attention in class, because if the class is a good class, you know, if it benefits you as a person, human being, and you grow and develop from it, then you should pay attention to it. If it doesn't, that means that matters for it is the grades, and paying attention to the class will help you with your grades, right? And your grades are what matters, because nothing else matters, right? In either case, you should be paying attention to class, unless you're like a straight A student and you're just destroying every test and every assessment coming your way. Okay, if that's the case, sure, you can have my stream open, I allow it, but otherwise please pay attention in class. Please pay attention in class. But anyways, let's head back to the trolleys, right? So my scripted frustration, my somewhat anticipated frustration, slowly turned into actual rage, because the game was really bad, but it was trying to present itself as this high and mighty, somewhat holier than thou, but also it's like when someone's like arrogant, right? When you're talking to someone and they're like really arrogant, they're full of themselves, and they're like, I'm the best person ever, you know, I'm smart, I'm intelligent, I'm so cool. And if they are very intelligent, then it's kind of annoying. But you know, they can prove it, you know, they can walk their walk. And so that's fine, you know, or rather, at least that's not as annoying. It's, you know, maybe it can be tongue in cheek, but it is, at least they're proving they could do it. This game is trying to say, this is such a clever game, and if you don't like the writing, it's because you're dumb and you don't understand satire. And the frustration lies in the fact that the satire is poorly written and ham-fisted, and it's just a mess. Added on to the fact that the humor is in poor taste. So there's just nothing to like about the game. And the worst part is, this is removing my existing frustration with pop philosophy already. And as a result, among other things, the stream was just very unenjoyable. The stream was probably enjoyable because it was fun to just watch me like mauled about it, but I genuinely was not having a good time playing the game, which has never happened before. I generally enjoy live streaming the things I do. I know it's been a week, but you know, like, or at least I expected to enjoy it and then I didn't. That's the dissonance for me. And all this to say, it's unlisted and it's probably never going to see the light of day again. You know, I don't want it to either. I don't think giving it promotion would be good. So why am I here today on Thursday ranting about it? Because, well, one, I want to shit on it. I really want to shit on this fucking garbage game. It's not garbage, it's not that bad, but like, I really dislike it. But also because I think it's a good excuse to talk about pop philosophy and trolley problems and all that, which is very on brand for the philosophy tuber. And I at least wanted something archived and listed and shown on the channel, addressing what happened to the stream that isn't there, right? Some accountability, perhaps. Where did it go wrong? So it all started when I downloaded the game. We didn't make you keep playing it despite the frustration. Listing is to be expected. Yeah, it's okay though. I just, like, I'm an entertainer first, and although I was frustrated with the game, shitting on it and talking about it with you guys made the experience, like, the stream was still enjoyable ultimately for me. Like, it's not like I was really sad about the stream, I was just really sad about the game. The stream was fun though. I enjoyed the stream, and I really liked having you guys around. It was great. But it all started when I was looking for games to play as the philosopher VTuber, because, you know, like, gimmicks go so far. I need to up the ante. I need to get everything together. I need to put content out there that shows that I'm the philosopher VTuber in some sense of the word, probably in the superficial sense. But you're here. If you're here, you're probably not for it. You probably understand, right? So I was like, okay, there's a game about the trolley problem. I can play that. That's like a philosophy thing, you know. That's a fun. That sounds fun. I went on Steam to download it, and it had a bunch of mixed reviews. I don't know why. It was like the recent reviews are mixed and the overall reviews are mixed, which is weird, right? Because usually it's like either positive or negative, very far into one or the other, or it's somewhat far into one or the other. And you know, and it being like controversial was interesting, because I thought, oh, okay, I want to know why. I want to know why it's so controversial. And I looked through the reviews. They weren't very helpful. All the reviews were just talking about how okay, they were kind of helpful. Some of the reviews were like, oh, the choices didn't really mean anything, the game was quite linear, blah blah blah. And those are also problems. Those are also points we can shit on for this game right? But we'll get to that later. But the summary of it was, I downloaded the game anyways, and I didn't, and I thought, well, it can't be that bad, you know. I'm gonna shit on it ironically, you know. I'm gonna shit on it in a way that's entertaining, but you know, and then it'll be an overall enjoyable experience. It was not. Here's the biggest problem with the game. It is a moment in time. I believe in the VOD, if you have a link to it for whatever reason, you shouldn't, but if there is a link out there to point to it, I'm not gonna private it. I can't be bothered. You know, if you're gonna go out of the way to dig for the link to go find it, then, you know, go look for it, whatever. But at like 1 hour 20 minutes in, roughly, there is a problem. One of the problems called the placebo problem, I believe. It was the placebo problem, where you're tasked to understand what happens, what you should do. Sorry, you're tasked with making the decision or if you should try to experiment on and research on a new drug that would help the development of future we would say future kids, or continue treatment currently with the current kids. I'm not even gonna begin shitting on the quality of the questions. I'll get to that later, right? They're bad. But the worst thing is, while you're making the decision, and maybe it was just me, I don't know if it's specifically during that problem, maybe it's just a timestamp in the game when you play. I haven't watched anyone else play it yet because I didn't want to spoil myself, right? They do, out of nowhere, they flash a black and white image, like a grayed image, like almost like a weird x-ray vibe image of a little girl. Like I think it's a stock image, or it's or like a copyright free image, whatever, of a little girl that's probably like 5-6 years old in like a little dress, and like with 2 black X's like crossed out on her eyes, like in like marker. The joke, here's the joke. Let me explain the joke, because the dev is very insistent on saying, oh, if you don't like the game, it's because you don't understand satire and you're stupid. You should educate. Shut the fuck up. Sorry. Okay, I'm really okay. The joke is that while you're playing the game and have made previous decisions that have caused people to die or whatever, you know, in jest, fictionally, in game, this is like you're a trauma victim and you're suddenly reminded of the traumatic experience you went through trying to make the trolley choice, and the blood, the metaphorical blood on your hands. And to do that, or rather to illustrate that, they simulated shell shock, or, you know, like trauma, post-traumatic stress disorder, like where the image of like the girl, like the lifeless girl, obviously she wasn't lifeless, the image was like a normal girl who was like happy and she was fine, but there's like, you know, her being dead wasn't in the picture. It was just like represented by the crossed out marks, right? Because they didn't want to be too graphic. That pops up for a second to scare you as you're making the choice. I believe the joke is on you, the player or the audience, whatever, to show that haha, isn't it funny that now you have to, like, while you're making these choices, you're reminded of how much of a horrible person you are from the previous jokes, even though in either scenario this was not a choice you could really make. Again, this is extremely linear. The game is extremely linear and offers no real meaningful choices that progress the game, like that progress the game truthfully in any way. That, hey, isn't it so bad that you made this choice? It doesn't matter what choice you made. We're gonna flash the image of a little girl and crossing out her eyes out to simulate trauma, to simulate a trauma response, just for a second, because fuck you, right? That's the joke. I get the joke. I understand the joke. The joke did not fly over my head. I intellectually grasped what you were trying to do, game dev. It's just that the joke is in extremely poor fucking taste. Like, this is a really bad joke. The joke is bad because you're ultimately the humor. There is no humor in punching down. Okay, like I can't believe I have to. I'm not a comedian. I'm not a comedian. Okay, I don't know. I cannot claim to understand the intricacies of humor and joke telling and like the depth of comedy. Okay, I can't claim to know that. But what I do know is punching down isn't funny. Okay, punching down is not funny, and this is an objective fact. Okay, the reason why there may be controversy to this statement is because you may disagree on what constitutes punching down. Okay, but punching down isn't funny. Add on to that, you're not just punching down. The butt of the joke isn't just trauma victims. That's not just it. You are then simulating the trauma response in people, like in the audience and the players who are playing this game where they are put into situations that could be traumatic. Like you are doing this this is a psychological attack on the people who play your game. And the joke, the butt of the joke is trauma victims. This is a horrible fucking joke. It's a horrible joke in every aspect. This joke is fucking shit. It shouldn't have been written into the game, and someone should have checked this and said, hey man, that's not a good joke, this is why, and explain it to him. But evidently this fucking idiot doesn't understand that this isn't satire. This isn't what the word, or at least it's horrible shitty satire. Okay, this is the worst thing about the game. And after this incident, they repeat this a few more times with different people in black and white images corresponding to the events or corresponding to the problems in the game earlier that you solved. Okay, that happens multiple times. This is, I believe, 3 or 4 times. And it doesn't get better every time. The joke doesn't even try to evolve. Even if you just ignore the rant, the complaint I had earlier, right? Even if you just ignore that and you just said, okay, well, like, it's a funny joke, haha. Well, they play the same joke like 2 or 3 more times, but they don't up the ante of the joke. They don't change the nature of the joke. They don't twist it in a way that's new and refreshing. They don't make it funnier. Like, they're just repeating the same joke over and over again. And this, to me, is the biggest symptom of the quality that attests to the low quality of the writing of this game. Okay, among other things, there's many things to shit on in the Trolley Problem Inc., but the thing I'm going to shit on the most is the writing. And the reason I'm going to shit on the fucking writing of this game is because the writing presents itself in this arrogant, cocky manner where it's saying, you know, I know better than you, that I am putting you in these like moral situations. Isn't that hilarious? It's a god view. It's a god complex view, putting the player in. And normally that can be fun. That can be interesting if written well. This angle can be played very well. Case in point, Portal 1 and Portal 2. Well, you play as a helpless lab rat solving puzzles that you don't want to. It's against your will, but you're doing it for the entertainment of this higher entity being, which is this AI bot that controls the whole like lab, the entire Aperture Science Laboratory that you're stuck in. Okay, GLaDOS. GLaDOS is the AI, the rogue AI that does that. Okay. And the reason the joke works, or rather the humor in it lands, and the reason why it's it works for the game is because they're the bad guy. Okay, like the robot, the evil AI robot that's trying to be all high and mighty on you is the bad person. or the bad character, the whole point of the game is to take them down, right? And it's satisfying when at the end of the game you beat the bad, whatever, you resolve the game at the end by doing that. That's why that works. Okay, example two, the Stanley Parable. Okay, and again, I know these are games I put on the goated list, so there's bias there. Sure, whatever. I'm using this to illustrate a point. Okay, example 2, the Stanley Parable. The Stanley Parable has a narrator who is also very arrogant and cocky and who demands you to do what he says. He tells you to do certain things, and when you don't do them, he's like, what are you, a fucking idiot? You go do the thing that I told you to do. But again, this works because the point of the game is in making choices that matter and in exploring what that means. What does it mean to make choices that matter in a game? And from that branching out to a wider context of just in general, what does it mean to make choices that matter? What does it mean for video game levels and game experiences and narrative experiences to be delivered linearly? And what kind of freedom does that allow the player, if any at all? The whole game wrestles with this idea, and the point of it is in this tension. Okay, that's the point. Now, let's come back to the Trolley Problem Inc. Okay, the Trolley Problem Inc. gives you moral decisions, moral dilemmas that are normally presented, or rather presented as a form of entertainment humor, of a little pop head scratcher, if you will. And it's like, yes, a train is barreling down in the tracks. Never mind the fact that it's totally removed from the original paper from Philippa Foot, which I have done my due diligence in explaining and reading to you all before the live stream, by the way. I did that. I am the only one who did that ever. I am pretty sure I am the only person to ever stream this game on YouTube who started the stream reading the Philippa Foot paper. I am the only person who did that, probably. Okay, now back to the Trolley Problem Inc. Okay, the premise of the game is it's a series of increasingly ridiculous choices that you make in the spirit of the trolley problem. If the trolley is barreling down a track and it's heading down a lane with 5 people tied to it, but you are next to a lever, and if you pull the lever, you can derail, or you can shift the trolley over to hit the 1 person instead of the 5. What should you do? One, it's presented as a moral dilemma. It's presented as an unintuitive idea of what you should do in scenarios, because generally our ethics and our morals are intuitive. Generally, we think, okay, don't be a bad person, don't be an asshole, treat people with respect, be polite. These are very common, normal, like, societal things we all kind of understand. You should do that. Don't disrespect people's privacy, don't do, the further down you go, the less obvious some things are, but again, this is a whole other conversation. Point being, usually our moral intuitions are intuitions. We usually understand it subconsciously. Now, when confronted with a moral dilemma, we suddenly have to put this into our conscious space and start thinking about it really hard. Like, we have to actually begin to wrestle with the ideas, because it's not obvious what to do in a situation like this. What do you do? Do you pull the lever or not? And from this spawns easy explanations to multiple ethical theories. For example, utilitarianism, and for example, Kantian ethics. And this is how Philosophy 101's, this is how Ethics 101 classes often operate, right? They usually introduce the problem first, and they go, what do you do? Well, this is a weird scenario. And they go, well, if you pull the lever, you're a utilitarian, and if you don't, you're a Kantian, haha, which is, again, a gross oversimplification of what the scenario entails. However, I've done enough shitting on the education system. We're going to focus on the Trolley Problem Inc. today, okay? The game is supposed to take the ridiculousness and the absurdity of these problems, pile them up, and list them out in order. What's the point of that? For entertainment? Well, if it's for entertainment, it's to make it funny, right? It's to see how absurd the problems are. Oh, but it also wants to educate, because beneath the every problem, they provide a footnote, they provide a citation. This is where the problem is from. You can read this. There's a real reading list attached at the end. Oh, you can read from this. Oh, okay. So it's trying to be educational, right? Okay. Boom, you have 40 seconds to answer the question. If you don't, that's it. right? There's no room for thought. You are just thrust in it, and immediately you're put into this scenario where you have to make the decision right now. So, okay, so it's less about premeditated or mediated thought, and it's less about my logical internal dialogue with myself. It's more just I have to make a quick, snappy decision. What should it be? And it's maybe it's a game that allows some sense of self-discovery. You know, maybe that's the case. Why then, okay, if the game is about discovering how you react to situations and scenarios, and you know, for it to be an experience that is introspective and educational, why then do you berate the choice that is made after every choice for the entire game? Why, if it was about a sort of introspective view into one's soul and one's moral intuitions, why do you make fun of the choice being made after the end of every decision? Why do you do that? On top of that, sometimes you're making fun, or rather your criticism, whatever you want to call it, your high and mighty bullshit god chair, right? Like, why is that? Like, why doesn't it even make sense sometimes? Sometimes there's answers that are incredibly obvious answers that are just there for fun. Nonetheless, you are still going to like insult the player. What does that achieve? Because are you positioning yourself as the bad guy? You know, the narrator is the bad person and we want to overcome them. Because if you are, then in the entire game, you don't take down the bad guy. The narrator doesn't ease off of you. The narrator doesn't develop. The narrator doesn't go anywhere. The narrator is a consistent flat note of boring insults that are not creative and not very funny, like 95% of the time. 5% of the time, there's like a good joke or two. You know, I'll give it that. 5% of the time, maybe there's a good joke or two. But like the other 95%, it is the consistent shitty, like, insults that they do. And so what do you want the game to do? Like, what is it that you're trying to do with it? Oh, it's satire. It's satire. Satire without purpose is a guide. Okay? Satire without purpose is a guide. I believe someone said that. I think someone said that. It's like a pretty fire quote, but like I might have misquoted that. I'm sorry. But I'm not having fun as a player on any aspect because I'm not getting an educational experience out of it because I'm not learning anything, because you're just skipping over the problems so fast and so quickly. You're not elaborating on them. Sure, you provide citations to reading lists, but that's just like throwing a reading list, a chunk of text at someone. That's not educational. That doesn't do shit. Okay, so it's not educational. Is it funny? No. Most of the jokes aren't funny because they're either at the expense of the player or they're punching down. Okay, so the jokes aren't even funny because you can't even laugh at the joke because it's like it's laughing at you. It's like it's always just laughing at you, and it's a very surface level laughing at you. And sometimes the worst part of it actually, it's not even sometimes, sorry, most of the times, it's not actually laughing at you. It's laughing at a choice being made that you didn't make because you were forced into the decision, and either of those decisions were shit, and you just picked like whichever one was like on the game, but it wasn't a dilemma, it was a false dilemma, so you didn't feel like you committed to the choice. And the worst part is that this is like one of the few games with somewhat overtly you know, loosely speaking, philosophical themes present like in the game. This is one of the few like games out there, and it's doing such a horrible job representing what the hell I stand for. My god. Dude. Why? At its core, the Trolley Problem Inc. is a philosophy game written by someone who is a fucking idiot. That is the greatest sin of this game. This philosophically aligned, attempting to be thought-provoking, attempting to be funny, attempting to be, you know, coherent game is none of those things, because the writer is a fucking idiot. I'm a YouTuber with like I'm like a VTuber with like 60 like subscribers. It doesn't matter. Don't tweet the guy. Don't tweet him like a clip of me saying that like out of context. Don't do that. Okay. Like ultimately I don't mean like a personal attack on the person. I just mean like this is just heavy criticism to the game. Okay. Okay, hold on. Let me scroll back up to see what you guys are saying. Missed it at first, but when it happened the second time, it was creepy as fuck, so weird. And Trolley Inc. feels like the joke and fault is always on you is not fun, it's infuriating. You're the first and last philosopher VTuber for real. Yep. Obviously need way too much on AI and felt really cheap. Yeah. And many of the quotes didn't even make sense. Yep. Nothing better than hearing someone verbalize my anger and doing my skincare. Time to attack the let's go chat. No, don't do that. All this to say, I'm really disappointed. Above all, you know, I'm disappointed because the premise of this game could have been something. Like if you gave me the premise of write a game, it's like a 2-3 hour game, right? Write a 2-3 hour game called the Trolley Problem Inc. and make the premise of it be making choices between absurd scenarios. I could have done okay, not to toot my own horn, okay, not to toot my own horn. I could have done a better job. Okay, I could have done a better job. And you know what? Even if I couldn't have, if I was on the board of advisors and if I had to read through the script, I could have improved it. I could have given feedback that would have improved the game way more. And you know what? Not only that, any of you guys could have done the same. Like this isn't just like a, like this isn't even just a I could do better, I'm the real philosopher. But like, I think anyone who's somewhat into games can see why this doesn't work. Yeah, and the worst part is all the good parts of this game are good not because of what the game does. Pterodactyl, you said the redirect nuke was the only interesting one I heard, like of the game's questions. Yeah. And you want to know why that was the only interesting one? It's because they didn't write it. He didn't write these questions. He just took these questions written by someone else. He had one job. He just needed to write the through line that connected the questions together. And he did that poorly. He did that in bad faith. And he fucked up anything else that he had going on the table. And like the only things that are good are only good because they come from good questions. Like the nuke redirection question is a great question. But it's not because of the Trolley Problem Inc. dev. It's not because of the writer, it's because the problem was written and pondered on by like someone who had an interesting thought. Who's not this guy. It's not this guy. It was some other guy. And the only value of it was that you can gain, and perhaps even more so, by just reading a literary text. You would have more fun doing an academic reading than playing this game. You would, and having like a discussion with like a friend. You would have more fun doing that than playing this game. And you failed as a game if that's the case. Okay, it's a failure. It's not a mixed game. This is a shit game. This is a game. It's not unsalvageable. It's not unsalvageable. I think it's totally salvageable. I think the premise has some good points, and I think some of the very small amount of the humor was tolerable. Okay, it was. I can say I would say that after having played through the whole thing. But right now, and it doesn't seem like it's going to improve because the last update was like a year ago or 2 years ago. So it's like, it seems like the developer has moved on, you know, or whatever. The game is fucking bad. And I'm sad that it's bad because it had a pretty interesting premise and it could have been a really like, I don't know, enjoyable experience for a philosopher VTuber to play, you know, it could have been. And now people are going to look upon this game as one of the representatives of pop philosophy in the sphere of entertainment, and think that this is what philosophy has to offer. And that's, you know, oh boy, if this is what you think philosophy has to offer, I'm so sorry. It's not. It's like, ooh. Can we have a Trolley Problem game on PowerPoint made by chairman and chat has to vote to play? I might do that. You know, I'm so angry about this game. I might just rewrite the entire game and improv and like do it myself live with you guys, and you can play like a better game than whatever the fuck I had to go through. I might do that. You know what, actually, That's a good idea. That is an excellent idea. Wow, that is an excellent idea. I can do like a video series on this and like a stream on this. That would be fun. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna work on that. The author certainly could have used an advisor like a mini ethics board. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, the Trolley Problem game could have used an ethics board. That's so funny. You're here first for librarian. Good games make you not want to talk to your friends. Sort of. Well, they want to make you talk to your friends after. But anyways, if you want like an interesting exploration of the Trolley Problem, because I think there is room for that. You know, it's not just, oh, it's pop philosophy, so it's trash. You know, I'm not that much of a hater. You know, I can understand the value of popular things and something being trendy, and I understand the value. I understand the value of it. Okay, so my recommendation is you go to Vsauce's channel. Michael Stevens, Vsauce, my favorite human being, right? Go to his channel. He has a series called Mindfield, and episode 1 is free, but all the episodes are free now because he's just such a goat. Because he's just such a like goat, you know? He's just such an amazing individual that all of the Mindfield like episodes are like free now. You go there and watch the episode on the Trolley Problem. It's so good. It is exactly, I think it's really good. It may be controversial, but I think it's done really well. It is exactly what this game tried to do, but like 10 times better. Here's the premise of the episode. Okay, the premise of the episode is Michael, you know, obviously after having gone through ethics boards and like careful pre-planning and like psychological counseling and like having professional counselors on standby, puts real people into the Trolley Problem situation to see how they would react to it psychologically. So it's, you know, obviously it's a more philosophical, pop philosophy moral dilemma, but this is more of an investigation / exploration of the psychological angle. You know, how people would react to it mentally, what they would do. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Hold on. Vsauce Mindfield F. Okay, sorry. I need to. My keyboard doesn't work. There. Okay. Vsauce Mindfield Trolley Problem. Okay. Just Google that, you'll be able to find it. And it's like a free episode on YouTube. It's so good. It's so good. You should watch that. That if you watch the stream on Tuesday, I'm sorry for you, because you didn't deserve to have to go through that. I hope I made it a little more bearable than it was. But if you want something of that flavor, you know, just to scratch that itch, here you go. Vsauce did a series called Mindfield, and episode 1 of season 1, I believe, is the Trolley Problem. It's so cool. It's a great episode. And honestly, the whole series is amazing. Am I gonna start glazing Vsauce now? Is that the part of it? Okay, let me just wrap up my thoughts. Is there anything else I want to talk about in the Trolley Problem Inc? Not really. Yeah, I think that's about it. That's all the thoughts I have aired out. Like obviously there's more to criticize of the game, that someone else could criticize and do a good job at, I'm sure. But this is just me explaining my frustrations with it, playing through it, and why it's like it has made Karis Euphranor history as like the first live stream to be unlisted because of how bad it was. Yeah, I don't like it. I really I don't think the dev isn't capable of making good games. Maybe the Reed Graves is the dev, right? I think he could make good game eventually. He could make a good game, maybe, but he certainly would have to put a lot more thought into it, and he would certainly have to, in his own words, educate himself, you know? And, you know, trying to deflect criticism by saying, oh, you just don't understand my satire, is lazy. You know, it's lazy. Maybe that's a side note, right? But when you're writing something satirical, or like, you know, you have to write a joke that the audience needs to get. If the audience doesn't understand the joke, it's your fault. You are not funny. If you tell a joke and the audience doesn't get it, you can't just go and say, oh, well, tough crowd, you know, oh, you're a bunch of sensitive snowflakes, and you don't understand my humor. You guys are just not funny or humorous. because that may be true, that could be true, but you are positioning yourself as the entertainer. You have to serve the purpose of being the entertainer. And if you cannot do your job properly, you're not doing your job properly. Okay? There is a level of communication. It's a skill. And again, I'm not saying it's easy. I think it's hard. It's a really interesting conundrum being a comedian or an entertainer, because like I believe the quote from one of the stand-up comedians I watched was, being a comedian is one of the most judgmental occupations or careers you can have, because every 12 seconds you're being judged on your performance. You're being rated on your performance every 12 seconds. And that's completely true. You know, it's not hard. I'm gonna save the unlisted stream link as a collectible. it's of no value. There's like no value to it. Okay, I'm gonna release like a video, like with like I'll try to release a video of my cut up to like to show the stream without the fucked up bits, you know, or like to try to censor it in some way, so like you can still enjoy it in the future. But I'm working on that, and you know, I'm only one person who also has to write a master's thesis, so I don't have a lot of time. But yeah, sorry. Anyways, the thing about comedians, yeah, you're being judged every 12 seconds as a comedian or as an entertainer, as a streamer, whatever you want to call it, and that's difficult. It's not easy. I don't want to say you know, this guy is doing a terrible job because he's completely irredeemably untalented. That's not the case. You know, it's hard to write humor. It's hard to write good humor. It's hard to write good satire, because satire involves the audience understanding the joke that you're trying to convey without you saying it overtly, right? You can't explain the satire or else it's not satire anymore. You know, case in point. So it may very well be the case that your audience doesn't understand your satire. But that's not the audience's fault. That is your fault, because you need to master weaving around the satire so it's not too overtly easy to understand, so that it's not funny, but just enough so that the audience gets the joke and can laugh along with you at the absurdity of a situation or a topic or anything like that. Okay? Reed Graves, if you're hearing this, don't hear this. Don't. I don't want the dev on my ass. I don't want the dev on my ass. I don't. And like, I don't want controversy yet. I'm not ready for that. I say as I title the stream shitting on the game that I just played. Hello, I'm Karis Euphonor, the world's smallest hypocrite. But yeah, you saying your audience doesn't understand your satire is it's just a horrible, bad, like low quality deflective shield for your bad writing, your bad communication. Okay, it's a skill, and you clearly haven't mastered it. Not to mention the fact that you clearly do not have a good grasp on humor, and perhaps you are very insensitive to certain things that you should be more sensitive to, i.e. trauma victims. You know, just throwing that out there too, just for good measure, that too. All right, I'm done talking about the Trolley Problem. If anyone has any questions about the Trolley Problem Inc., then, you know, ask them, I guess. It's like, this is I'm done talking about the Trolley Problem Inc. It's not the end of the stream, but if you came here to the stream to hear me rant about the Trolley Problem, I'm done talking about it now. Okay? Because now we're going to talk about pop philosophy a little bit. Not too in-depth of a take into it. Making people you know can be hard. Thinking of making a multitude of people you don't know who are prepared to you being funny is just terrifying. Oh, making people laugh, you mean, right? Yeah. Making people, you know, laugh. Yeah, exactly. So again, I'm not saying it would have been easy to design this game, Trolley Problem Inc., but it certainly could have been a better job done, especially for something like this that's, you know, that leans into heavier topics. There is a certain responsibility that you have to make sure it goes well. It's not just, you know, it's not like, I don't know, I don't want to even say it. I'm going to say it. It's not even like a skibbity toilet video or whatever the fuck the kids watch nowadays, where Shout out to all the children in my chat. I'm sorry. Oh no, I shouldn't have said that. Shout out to anyone. No. There's yeah. It's like, it's not even like a low stakes, just random brain rot comedy type thing. This is you're trying to be a little highbrow with it, right? You know, Reed Graves, you can't have your cake and eat it too. If you want to try to be highbrow with it, you have to match it with a certain quality. And evidently he did not do that. They, I'm not sure who. I believe the creator is a man, but I don't remember. Someone clip that? No, don't clip that, please. Okay, now I'm going to talk a little bit about pop philosophy. Just briefly, just very briefly. Pop philosophy is, to me, or rather, I have a view on pop philosophy that's very similar to my view on pop music, or like just popular things in general. You know, pop mainstream things, mainstream anime, mainstream games, mainstream music, mainstream whatever. You know, I have a view of it. And the view, if I were to present it here briefly, is that I understand its necessity. I understand the place it occupies in the social consciousness of things. And it can be good. Popular mainstream things can be objectively good, but making something mainstream so that it's widely appealing, right? And also incredible is very, very difficult. It's like you're almost choosing one or the other, right? Because the more you try to appeal to everyone, the less substance that thing has, and so the more generic it is and the less interesting it is and the worse it is, right? You know, like Maroon 5. This is not a stream shooting on Maroon 5. But I hope you understand what I mean when I say Maroon 5, right? Maroon 5 is like a band and it's very popular and has songs that are quite catchy and on the radio, but they're all kind of like the same sounds and they're not very interesting. You know, and it is, because why Maroon 5? Because if I say Taylor Swift, you'll all kill me. Okay. Let me be clear. Let me be clear on this. Let me be clear. Okay. I'm not listing an example of what's bad music. I'm listing an example of what is popular pop music. Okay, pop music. A good example of pop music is Maroon 5, and also maybe Taylor Swift. But you know, it's not. I don't think the world is ready. I don't think the world is ready for that discussion yet. Okay, I'm not saying Taylor Swift forever, like in all of her songs discography. I just mean like nowadays, like a little bit. You know. Okay. These are examples of like pop music, and pop music. Wise up, yeah, you better wise up. Shout out to all the shifts, the shifties, the Swifties in the chat, which seems to be one person. Congratulations, Fufu. But pop music is widely appealing. It's, you know, earworm-ish. It's quite everywhere. It goes on radios, and it's, you know, it tops billboards. It makes money, and people enjoy it. They bop to it. It's in clubs and stuff. It's very enjoyable music. Generally, though, it's not very interesting music. Here's what I mean. What I mean by it's not very interesting is like there is not too much depth to it. It's not that deep, bro, is often cited as one of the phrases that people use for it. I don't even like her in a private jet. Lamau. But okay. Taylor Swift, Maroon 5, other pop artists, I don't know, like Bieber, is he like a popular artist nowadays? I don't know. These people, they make music, and oftentimes their music, or at least their pop music, because they don't, pop artists don't always make pop music. Sometimes they make other music. That happens. Or sometimes their pop music is so good that it almost transcends what we understand as pop music. But ultimately the music is kind of simple. And I don't mean like simple derogatory. I know it sounds like that because I'm the philosopher VTuber and I'm supposed to be high and mighty and sophisticated and yes, only the great. So like the only thing missing right now is like my stream music being, yo, oh my god, I know exactly what to do. I'm gonna play classical music now, hold on. Yes. Today we're going to discuss popular music and the erosion of art as we know it. Unsightly, unbearable, crude. The music's too quiet, hold on. This isn't even a deep cut. This is like Moonlight Sonata. Sorry, hold on. Now give me the current state of popular culture, popular music is the erosion of art as we know it. It's unbelievable the dross that we must wade through, the garbage, the popular garbage present in all of our lives. In all of our lives, we must not associate ourselves with these plebeians. No. We are better than this. Yes, we know better than this. We are sophisticated individuals. We have refined cultural taste. I don't think Moonlight Sonata's cutting it. Hold on, let me. For release. Yeah, sure, why not? Okay. The third movement. It's like a big playlist. I can't find it. Sorry. Maybe I'll do like I'll like curate a smaller playlist for next time. We're gonna have to do this. Third movement is that I'm gonna do for release because I think it's funnier. I think for release is funnier. Gentlemen, and yes, gentlemen, really, because as we all know, this we as men are high and mighty and better than everyone else. Yes, yeah. yes. I lost my train of thought. I can't do it. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I can't. Okay. What else do I have? Dude. Okay, actually banger though, Vivaldi. I love that. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna play this just for the bit. While I talk about pop music, pop philosophy, pop whatever, it's supposed to be accessible. It's supposed to be appealing. It's supposed to be universally agreeable, and to do that, usually it needs to be simple. Because if it's too complicated, then complex, then people can't understand it. You know, not at risk of sounding snobbish. Actually, at no risk of sounding snobbish. Claire de Lune. I'm gonna. You know what? I'll cue that. I'll cue that. You know what? I'll cue that next. Why not? Why not? I'll take classical requests. So dramatic. Yeah, like I think that's like the point of it. Sorry, what was that? Pop music is not. It's a little soft. Hold on. Is it too loud? Okay, we'll fix it. We'll fix it. This should be okay. This should be okay. Eric Satie? Okay, wonderful. Sure, I've added some to queue. Thank you for your suggestions, art team. Leave it to my art team to give me the pompous, arrogant classical music suggestions. Viglet? Okay. Wait, what? Wait, no. No, I'm not playing. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. It needs to be. I'll do it. Okay, no, never mind. Entry of the Gladiators, sure. Entry. I'm bearing all in mind like that all of this is like copyright free, right? Like this isn't. These are all classical pieces. I'm not gonna get struck down if I play them on my stream, right? Okay, hold on. Theme of Darth Vader. Maybe not. I don't think. I think that's too good. Okay. Sorry. Let me get to the point that I was trying to before I got derailed and completely sidetracked. Former self copyright. Will they notice that they're performing it if I'm like the music is kind of soft and I'm like talking over it? Will they notice? They won't, right? As long as we don't like mention their name or whatever, which I just did, I think. YouTube will. Oh my god. Also, if you hear that, it's because my sorry. You didn't hear that. If anyone heard that, you didn't hear it. Okay. You know what? Whatever. We'll just hope they don't recognize it. Well, I talk over it, you know, because I'm gonna be talking over it, and it's gonna be like background music, so it won't be too bad. Anyways, pop philosophy is not great because unlike pop music or pop culture in general, philosophy, you know, the thing it's trying to represent, it hinges on nuance and complexity. Hold on, it's too soft to me. Yeah, this works. Because philosophy itself hinges on some level on a certain nuance and complexity due to the nature of what it engages with, or rather the way it engages with things is what philosophy is, right? It's to engage with something in its deepest, most intricate, complex, like the deepest level. That's what philosophy is. The philosophy of something, right? The philosophy of ethics, the philosophy of metaphysics, the philosophy of whatever, is to engage with something at the most like at the edge of it, you know, at what is the most difficult. So pop philosophy, in a sense, is almost oxymoronic because if it's popular, if it is widely appealing, if it is difficult to, hold on, let me load it. If it's difficult to understand philosophy, but pop philosophy is supposed to be appealing, so easy to understand, then is it even philosophy? Because, right, unlike with other things like music or like popular anime, popular culture, whatever, you can say, oh, it's just, you know, you don't have a refined taste if you say you listen to Taylor Swift or Maroon 5, right? Or you watch, or if you ask someone what their favorite anime is and they say Demon Slayer, it's like either they're like 8 years old or they just haven't watched much anime, right? And there's a big overlap between the two. But anyways, because, you know, in some sense, in some level, in some sophistication, you think, well, there's of course much more to it than that. You know, there's much more to the medium. There's more to witness and experience that is truly, you know, you need to have you have to have a taste for it. You know, it needs to be refined, and you know all the other glass house, sorry, glass, like the ivory tower, like speak. You know, but you can just have you can just have music playing and it's still music, you know. Although like a snob will walk around and say, well, you know, that's not really music, you know, but it kind of is in the way that you're still vibing to it, you're enjoying it, you know. You can play it in a club, you can play it when you're having a breakup, if it's Taylor Swift, right? You can when you go through a breakup, and like, you know, you can feel like emotion. It draws emotions out of you that are cathartic, and it's a good experience. Like it feels nice. You walk around with your headphones in, pretending like it's a music video. When you're on the train or on the bus, you look out and you're like, oh my god, like my life is so dramatic, and it's like I am the tea, I am the drama. Right? You think that, right, when you listen to it. That's probably what you think when you listen to a Taylor Swift song. Right? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong. Okay, but I'm not. um I shouldn't have said that. I should. Sorry. You can tell I'm not a Taylor enjoyer myself. I personally, I'm not acquitted to the intricacies of her discography. All right, I'm not very familiar with it yet. But nonetheless, I think her songs are pretty good. I like her songs. Again, I like Taylor Swift's I like some of Taylor Swift. I don't hate her. I like some of Maroon 5. Like I don't hate them. And you know what, I kind of like Demon Slayer too. And I would recognize them as what they are. It's art, it's music, it's anime, it's art. Perhaps you can say it's not as artistic. It's not as this very niche esoteric like thing that I'm interested in. But it's probably like, yeah, it's a thing you enjoy, and you should be allowed to enjoy that. And you're free to enjoy that, and if it makes you happy, it makes you happy. Whatever. Philosophy is not quite the same, in that you can't just let people enjoy pop philosophy. You know what I mean? You can't, or rather, there is good reason to suggest that these two issues should not be taken as identical or as the same, because you can't just say, well, just let them enjoy their surface level absurd trolley problems. Let them enjoy asking what the meaning of life is and laughing when someone says 42. Haha, it's so funny. Look at that. That's like so funny. Like, because philosophy, or rather the endeavor of philosophical thought, as you hear first from the philosopher, the first and last philosopher, vtuber Karasufanor, um what makes I don't know, good question. Popular science still pushes for things very core to it, the values that are very core to it, namely the scientific method, right? That is, even in a in a baking soda volcano, or like a simple chemistry like color potion test, you would still do. Like you're still imbuing that process implicitly into the people who are engaging in the pop science, right? So I would say in regards to that, that's still pretty good. But pop philosophy doesn't do that. Pop philosophy, you can argue good pop philosophy does that. For example, the Trolley Problem was supposed to maybe be kind of that, in that like it does make people uncomfortable, like in a good way, because it gets them to think like, oh, should you pull the trolley lever, whatever, whatnot. But it's oversimplified so much, and people, because part of the discomfort of philosophy is you need to teach people, or you need to educate people that you can't just ask for an answer and expect to have one immediately. Like, because nowadays we are so conditioned to think, okay, if there's a demand for it, if I want it, if I'm paying money for it, you need to give me this product now. I demand as the customer for you to give me the thing if I give you money. And you take this attitude to schools, we take this attitude to universities, we take this attitude to higher education, we take this attitude towards everything. But when it comes to thinking, any level of thinking and philosophical thought and challenging yourself and being uncomfortable, we are not okay with the idea that sometimes there is no easy answer to a question, because all we want in life are easy things. We just want easy answers. We want easy livelihoods. We want easy income. We want easy money. We want easy jobs. All of that. Philosophy, I argue, nowadays should speak to the difficulty, not the ease. The difficulty is what it should speak to. But not in a way that is cruel or destructive or pessimistic or dreadful and existential and, like, oh, I'm so sad, nothing's real, there's no right answer. Well, but one that is perhaps cruelly, but nonetheless hopeful, right? One that aspires for meaning and change. But whatever, right? That's my philosophy rant. The problem with that I have with pop philosophy is it doesn't do that. It doesn't push people to be okay with not having a good answer for something, but nonetheless to endeavor for more. Bad pop philosophy. Again, just bad pop. Good pop philosophy could do that. In the same way, good pop music can make people want to dig further into music. Good popular anime can make people want to watch more anime. Like in those regards, that's good. And the trolley problem is unfortunately at the front and center of all of this. The trolley problem is at the front and center of pop philosophy and its ideas and thoughts. We love the trolley problem. It's such a funny meme. It appears all the time. I don't know why the song rot my brain. I saw pop philosophy as poop philosophy on the screen. Same thing in it. example that has just completely spiraled out of its tracks nowadays. You probably didn't know that, or at least I didn't know that when I did it. Okay. like, oh god, and then we have to go into the Twitter brain rot of like, well, and everyone has to have an opinion, and if you don't have an opinion on every political issue, you are insert like in art. Right. Okay, that's what he's angry about. That's all it is, right? And so, what the hell? Oh my god! I forgot this is cute next. I forgot this is cute next. Oh my god. My favorite non-political game, Metal Gear Solid. Exactly. It worked. Yeah, it did, Tara. I promised I'd cue it for you. Here it is. Is it a classical piece? Like, I think it kind of counts as a classical piece, so that's why I queued it. Wonderful that this comes just in time for the gay rant. For the political rant. Isn't this so triumphant? This is like soldier music, right? Doesn't this make you want to go to war? That, at least that's what the composer thought. But anyways. Representation happens, it exists, and people complain about it, and they're dumb. You know, that's one aspect of why it's annoying to me. Because people are dumb and they don't really understand the contextual history of representation and why certain things are the way they are now. That being said, on the other hand, companies, studios, people who are out there who only care about the bottom line, because that's true, they care about their bottom line and it's the most important thing to care about, would rather prioritize quantity than quality. And they'll pump out a crap ton of things and create shallow characters as a result, shallow media, shallow stories, shallow narratives, but also attempt to have them be mainstream appealing, and as part of that, want to have some sort of minority representation in those media. The clown music works for this, yeah. Is it too loud? Maybe a little loud. This is okay. Okay. Makes me want to serve clown way. Yeah. And the difficulty in criticizing it is in saying that you should prioritize on writing good characters, not gay characters. But the problem with that is that people who say this are also sometimes very bigoted when they say this, because they're like, you know, I don't want to see political characters, I just want to see good characters. And when they say good, they mean like non-political, which means, whoa, I'm not gonna say the word, but you know the word, you know the word, you know the word, you know the words. Okay, good, it's over. The clown music's over. And it pisses me off because there is valid criticism for certain things that are ham-fisted attempts at representation that just fall flat. To criticize that, but at the same time to still try to uplift the notion of representation without it being like a bottom line thing. You gonna sleep? All right. Looking forward to Gate saying goodbye. Goodbye, Mochi. Have a good night. Sorry for the stream being a little long. But I'll try to wrap up my thoughts. What was he talking about? Yes. Representation is good, but people who do the representation care about their bottom line, so it ends up being mid as fuck and terrible and frankly not good. A big example I want to point out is that was like a big topic that people talked about was like Avengers Endgame. Avengers Endgame happened years ago. I don't remember how many years ago. And then there was a scene in Avengers Endgame. I failed to get Firefly. RIP. Rest in peace. I'm sorry for your gacha loss. There's a scene in Avengers Endgame where they do like a slow panning shot of all of the women in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that were involved at that point in the plot to show up and do something cool and badass for the camera, you know, just beat up like a monster or something in like the final fight. And then they would pan the camera to show like all the women, and it was really cool. Or at least that's what the executives were thinking when they made that. OMG, that female rep scene is so cringe and so bad. I cry as a woman. Yeah. Therein lies the thing. is maybe the intention was good. Maybe it might not have been, but maybe the intention was good. But if it was, let's just assume they had good intentions. That was bad still, because it was so ham-fisted and so like callous, so cringe. Like it came off cringe, you know? It came off forced and ham-fisted and like, oh, come on. Like, I know what you're trying to do, but can you have done it more gracefully, you know? Please have some sense of faith in people's media literacy to understand what you're trying to do. That's an ongoing struggle, you know. Can you have faith in an audience that's stupid? Well, you just have to have faith. That's what faith is. And there are people who complain about the scene because they don't like women. That's weird. There are people that complain because they are misogynists, and that's annoying because I want to complain for a different reason. Birds of Prey is good. I would say Birds of Prey. I watched Birds of Prey. I would say it's not bad. I think Birds of Prey could have been better, but it's not bad. There are some things it could have been better for. Likewise with Barbie. I think Barbie is probably the best representation of women in like contemporary media, popular media recently. And I have my share of critiques on it. I don't think it's perfect. I think there are some things to criticize it for, but all in all, it's probably one of the best things to been made to have such a big cultural impact, right? Anyways, enough about women's rights. Let's talk about women's wrongs. Sorry, no, it's not talk about women's. Here, okay, let me get to the central point. I haven't even gone to the central point of what I was trying to explain. I just went on 5 tangents. Sorry. Gay representation. What I was trying to say is now you now have games like Hoyoverse games that are really big on the collective weeb anime sphere, cultural sphere. I'm sure we're all here. You know, you were here yesterday in the live stream watching me suffer through or play through Honkai Star Rail, the hit mobile game made by a Chinese company. And it's important to note that it's made by a Chinese company, not because, you know, for some reason that makes it worse and we're being xenophobic. That's not the reason, no. But to understand where the context of the game comes from and what that means when we think about the gay representation in the game. Okay? It is no secret. It's very obvious. You have to seriously have extremely poor media literacy to like look at a game like, for example, like Honkai Star Rail. We'll raise that as an example because we played yesterday. And not see that there are very gay coded characters. They don't have sex on screen, but sometimes their dialogue is like, sometimes it would have been less gay if they just had sex on screen than to hear the dialogue they have about each other. You know what I mean? Like it's that painfully laid on. Like they really want you to think these two characters who are of the same gender are fucking. You know, they really want you to think that. And you know, that's gay representation in our popular media. Is it? Now, is it gay representation? That's a good question. Or is it fetishization? Herein lies the actual controversial part of this. Everything I've said so far is extremely uncontroversial for anyone who would watch this live stream. Like, I think you would completely understand where the hell I'm coming from. Like, I've just made it a point to explain it very clearly because it's just like as a philosopher VTuber, I feel it is my responsibility to do so. Right? You have to explain things at the beginning. You always have to. That's how philosophy begins. Anyways, you have to just do that right, and thus it's not representation. Now, here's the kicker, is there's a lot of discourse on this. Is this actual representation, or they're just trying to bait? They're just trying to yaoi bait. They're just trying to yuri bait. You're just trying to bait gay people who enjoy gay people in media, or rather people who fetishize gay people in media to want to enjoy your product. Is that the case? Because the fetishization of gay people and the fetishization of you know, whatever thing that is not the what was the norm, you know, years ago in our media, the fetishization of it is bad. You know, maybe it wasn't obvious from the wording of it, but fetishization is not good. Fetishization is in itself some way of objectification. You know, you are dehumanizing something you fetishize because you're no longer seeing it and treating it like they're a person. You're treating it like it's a like, you know, like an object, like something you want to. It's bad. It's bad. Fetishization is bad. Like, okay, we're done here. The problem with media that comes out of certain places like Honkai Star Rail, comes out of Chinese company, is that it comes from a region. The game comes out of a region. What? Sorry, Fufu, you said one of my old friends said if she gave birth to 2 sons, she'll make one gay. That's really weird. That's really fucked up. What the hell? Anyways, yeah, that's bad. I don't think I need to elaborate on that. You probably agree with me. Yeah, you get it. But Sarah has a fetishization problem, or rather a controversy, and I do mean controversy in the realist sense because I think there's no obvious answer to this. That's what makes it a controversy, is when the answer is not clear at all. When the answer is clear, like and it's something just bad, then it's not controversial, it's just bad. You know, it's like if I say murder is bad, then that's not a controversial. I'm not saying something controversial. It's very uncontroversial, even though it may involve themes that are mature and difficult to explain in a family-friendly setting, right? Like it's not controversial. This is controversial because the crux of it, to me, lies in the fact that Honkai Star Rail, and maybe Genshin Impact as well, and other Hoyo-based games and anime games in general, may come from communities and regions that are not as progressive. You know, they're not that progressive, and so they face the risk of an immediate local backlash, not just, you know, from the governing authority, but also just like from the people who play the game, right? The players who play the game. There might be backlash when the representation is done too forcefully, and so they have to be subtle with it. You know, they cannot be queer. They must be queer coded, if you will, right? That's the media. Now, yeah, okay, sure, let's have this play. Why not? Yeah. And the problem with this is you can't tell if the intent behind something like HSR's like design, character designs, and their interaction designs is one that wants to encourage fetishization or genuine representation, just done so covertly, or, you know, done so in a way that is more subtle for it to be palatable to a bigger audience. You know, the difficulty is you can't assert a very strong argument for either side of this. What are they trying to do? And it could be both. It could be both in some extent, because fetishization is profitable, and that is about the bottom line. I love that that we've got Vivaldi going on, so which is what was used in the Kafka trailer. Yeah, sorry. A great classical piece to talk about HSR too. It's terrible. Growing weeb, since it is a pretty phobic community, is getting better at least. Yeah, the community's getting better, but it's not getting better fast enough, you know? It needs to get better faster. And I think there can be things done to make it better faster. And one of the things may be representation, right? Now, what is representation and what is fetishization? This is something that people are not thinking about enough. A lot of discourse online revolving certain characters, like non-canon, headcanon sexualities, is that even though they're queer coded, because they can only be queer coded, otherwise they risk a lot of backlash in their local audience or in their bottom lines, whatever, right? And, you know, companies are for profit. Companies are not charities. Companies aren't your friend. Companies want your fucking wallet and nothing else. That's what a company is. That is what they are by definition. In Econ 101, a company is an entity that wants to maximize their profit, okay? Whether it be in the short term or long term, that is what they care about. If a company doesn't make enough money, they're a failed company and they will close their business. If a company makes just enough money to break even in their revenue and they use their profits to, they donate their profits, or they keep their profits in just purely in research and development, that's like a non-profit. Okay, there's a word for that. It's a non-profit. Okay, and Hoyoverse is not a non-profit company. Hoyoverse is very much for profit, considering how much goddamn profit they're making for all their characters and banners. Okay, and so there's a big struggle in accepting that there may be an issue of fetishization in the current way it is implemented in things like Hoyoverse games, HSR, the anime community in general, and whether or not it is actual representation, which is good, or if it's fetishization, for Fujoshis or whatever, right? Which is not good. That's not good. Fetishization is not good. Representation, good. Okay, it's, again, I have to repeat these because it's important to set that this is where the controversy and debate is, and not that many people that are, big figures in these weeb spheres and communities are talking about this. No one's really talking about this because it's a difficult topic to tackle. What do you do? Do you support a company? Do you support the this sort of queer, thinly veiled queer coded representation as just something, it's the best you can get? Or do you try to endeavor for better? Well, the answer is just play Hades Lamau. It's the best game ever. But but also, should that mean you should stop engaging in these community discussions and like online anime discourse in general? Because anime discourse is beyond like games like Hoyoverse games, where it's like also just Japanese origin has this as well, where they're also not as progressively minded as they could be, right? As it is in the West, at least. So I'm surprised you guys are still hearing me rant. I hope it's just like a soothing thing to come out of this. But we don't discuss this enough. We don't discuss whether or not there's fetishization, whether or not there's representation, and there are good arguments for either case. For example, as I mentioned earlier, this could just be queer coding and not queer representation, and queer coding is good. It's my bedtime routine now. Great, wonderful. It could be queer coding and not representation, and coding is necessary in some cases because of geopolitical conflicts and situations, and that make things complex. Yeah, that's necessary, and that's good. Or on the other hand, all of the characters represented in anime, well, most of them that are represented, are oftentimes extremely attractive. They're extremely conventionally attractive. If you look at, for example, like a Hoyoverse game, again, like a Hoyoverse game, like a gacha game, right? A game like that, an anime-based gacha, where there are like certain characters, like they are very conventionally attractive characters. All of them are. All of them are conventionally appealing and attractive. If they're of age, they are attractive. If they are not of age, they are appealing. I'm not going to comment on the age thing for now, but they are supposed to all be very visually appealing, right? So how come there's no ugly lesbian character that comes out of these games? Because ugly lesbians exist. I know a few. Oh, sorry, but like, yeah, like ugly gay people exist. Ugly gays exist. Ugly lesbians exist. Like ugly queer people exist. Conventionally unattractive queer people exist. They do. They do. So how come they're not represented? How come it's all just very unrealistic beauty standard anime characters that are being gay, but they're only gay for each other and they're never bi? That's the other thing. Thank you for pointing that out, Teradido. Is the lack of bi character fan canon just canon an issue of fetishization or something else? I don't know if it is an issue, but it certainly is a very interesting connection to draw between whether or not certain characters are gay and certain characters are bisexual. When a character is bisexual, it means they are an enjoyer of the anime wives and husbandos and probably whatever's in between too, but anime is not very good at androgyny for now, right? So let's leave it at that. Why is that? Biphobia is real, yeah. But is it though? Or is it like, is it even biphobia? Because, or is it just, you know, that it was never about gay people in the first place? That it was just about fetishization. It was just about these attractive like men are making out in this image and it makes my heart flutter. Or these two attractive women are dancing and they are being very flirty and sexual, and it makes, and something is rising, but it's not the shield hero. You know, like, what is it? What is it exactly? No one's talking about this. Like the past like 20 minutes has been nothing but cold takes. The past 5 minutes may have been hotter takes, because these are takes that are not being had in the community, not enough at least. Whether or not it was about representation in the first place at all is now like a topic, which is just unfortunate, but it's a topic that we need to discuss. Or is it just about bottom line fetishization money? In which case, that's pretty bad. I don't like that. I don't know if you like that. It doesn't really vibe with me personally. The fact that we are social human beings. Yeah, we're social human beings. That's true. And we talk about things, but we tend to avoid difficult topics like this because we enjoy. Because I'm sure some of us who are very progressive and want to, you know, be unproblematic in like an anime community setting, whatever, also enjoy certain yaoi ships or yuri ships. Like shipping culture in anime is fine. Like the shipping culture itself is not a big deal, but it's when the shipping culture forces a certain sense of queer that is quite by erasure, and also just very specifically puts couples together that are like conventionally attractive. That's when it's like an issue. That's when it becomes that's when it creeps into fetishization, right? But we recognize that that's a conversation that's difficult to resolve, and so we don't want to think about it. We don't want to talk about it. And of course, as the philosopher VTuber, I'm here to talk about what makes you uncomfortable. Here's what this is. Here's what that is. Here it is. You're all very uncomfortable now. Yeah, I get it. So am I. So am I. And I'm not here to offer you the easy answer out. There is no easy answer. There's no like easy conflict resolution for this struggle we have in enjoying the media we have that may or may not have queer representation / queer fetishization. We don't. The only thing we can do concretely now is represent things that are very overtly, obviously representation and not fetishization. Case in point, for example, the Hades series from Supergiant Games. Supergiant Games, wonderful job. Damn, that's for real. Easy, like 100% classy representation that is also at the same time done so tastefully and like in where they show attractive characters, but only tastefully and contextually, like it contextually makes sense. Greek gods are supposed to be seen as beautiful and magnificent, right? That's the whole, like conventionally, it's supposed to be conventionally attractive. That's the whole point of Greek gods. So Hades, wonderful job. Glazing my goats again in this live stream. What, the third time today? You'll get used to it. This is a Karasu for North stream. All I do is glaze my goats. But this is a conversation, and this is truly, and this isn't the Twitter, like, this isn't the Twitter saying of trying to be sassy of like, oh, but y'all are not, hold on, let me reload. Because I think it's actually kind of important. This isn't the Twitter thing of like, oh, but y'all aren't ready for this conversation. I genuinely mean, we as a community are not ready for this conversation. I don't mean it like, oh, but y'all not ready to talk about it. Like it's a mic drop on like a tweet. Like, no, this isn't like a mic drop. Like, I'm so much smarter and better than you. No. Even though I am, that's not the main point. I don't need to assert that through this statement. What I am asserting is purely this statement that we are not talking about these issues enough because they are complicated and they make our brain hurt. Is the music? I'm sorry. And they make our brain hurt. And they make us uncomfortable with what we currently enjoy comfortably. And you know what is the worst part of this? This isn't even about HSR anymore. It's not even about anime. This is just media in general. Think about the way like idols and pop stars and, you know, maybe not like Western pop stars, or like maybe like more like Eastern idols and pop stars are treated. Think about VTubers. Think about VTubers. This is Karis Ufanor, the philosopher, first and last philosopher VTuber. I'm gonna make you think about VTubers now, because that's what I do. No one else is going to do that. I'm going to do that. Think about VTubers. Think about how there's a certain portion of people who watch VTubers, who watch, for example, female VTubers, that don't want their Oshi to interact with men. And to make, again, to make my stance clear on this, I'll say one thing, and you should be able to understand it. My favorite stream, glazing my goats once again. I love glazing. I'm professional glazer here, right? Professional yapper, professional glazer. There is like a non-negligible portion of people who watch female VTubers in certain circles like Hololive that I enjoy watching as well, that get really weird when the female talents interact with any men, like in any capacity. They get really weird about it. And my stance on this is my favorite Hololive stream, probably. There's a lot of really good ones, but hands down my favorite one is the one done by Oro Crony and Vesper Noir, where it is a roleplay like a therapy stream. It's a therapy stream. And that is my favorite stream. That is probably my favorite Hololive stream of all time. Like that is my favorite one. So that should tell you my stance on, like, you know, whether or not I enjoy watching talents of different genders like interact with each other. And it's like a thing, not quite in, it's a little less so in like Niji or like in Vshoujo and other spheres of VTubers, but it's just more prevalent in Hololive. But they're like really big, so it's worth talking about them, right? That's weird. That interacting with the other gender is kind of fucked up. Karis therapy session, when this is always like every stream is a therapy session, but it's like me for myself. It's my self therapy for my frustrations towards the world. That's what these streams are. What if I'm watching you? I don't know. Like if you're watching me, then you're watching me, right? I don't interact with anyone, not because like I have a fear that if I interact with someone of the opposite gender, my viewership will go down. It's because my viewership is down and not very impressive, and no one watches me, and I have 60 subs, so it doesn't matter. Like that's why. That's why I'm not collaborating with anyone else. It's because I am small and no one cares about me. That's why. But even then, if I do go out and collaborate with people of all walks of life, I'm pretty confident that I have been able to segregate and filter enough people because of how strong my opinions are, how strongly opinionated I am on things, that anyone who's in chat is probably like a pretty progressive person. Hey, we're back on the volume. Nice. So what are my thoughts on this overall, this fetishization and representation debate? Because it's a big one, is that we need to be mindful. That's the only thought I can comfortably put forward right now, is that we are not being mindful enough of the difference between representation and fetishization in the more contemporary controversial media, like for example certain anime games where they put gay men and lesbian women together and, you know, queer code them but don't queer stamp them. So yeah, lost electricity for a minute, but yeah, I wonder how much VTuber by Gex says being clips are representation fetishization due to Veep culture. Yeah, and it's fucked up because like these are no longer even characters; these are real people. So there is harm being done not just to the people watching or consuming it, like, you know, if they were fictional characters, but also the people behind the VTubers that have to play these characters, who have to, you know, deal with the bombard and onslaught of this. I can only imagine how bad it is. And it's a difficult problem to fix, but I think one to fix nonetheless. Weeb culture in this aspect needs to grow. Like it really needs to evolve beyond this. And I think this is the next thing to talk about. It's the representation versus fetishization that frankly is just not being talked about enough. People are not at this distinction yet. Congratulations. How many of you are here? There's like 5 people here. Congratulations. All 5 of you and anyone else who was tuning in during this. You are now better. You're now better informed than like 95% of the anime community. Like it just, there you go. Just by having this information of how this debate or how this issue is very interesting but also very difficult to resolve, just by knowing about this, you're already a step ahead of most people. Now, how the hell do you deal with that? That's a whole other thing. That's a whole can of worms. The last thing I want to touch on in VTuber culture, and in terms of gayness and, you know, the Pride Month thing, right, is the fact that there aren't that many. The internet is dominated by straight men. Sorry, let me correct that. The VTuber sphere is still, it's way better now, but it is dominated by straight men, and that will make you think, wait, what do you mean? I thought that female VTubers are way more successful than male VTubers. You know, Karis Ufanor, you are fighting it. You are so brave and heroic for fighting this uphill battle. It's like choosing to represent yourself as a male VTuber instead of, you know, anything else that could have been easier for making content. Why would you do that? Well, first of all, I applaud you for thank you for applauding my bravery, chatter that doesn't exist. But but what I mean by that is it's dominated by like this, by men because men want to, straight men are the largest amount of people. It's not everyone, but it's the largest amount of people who want to watch cute or hot or sexy, like, or attractive anime women do cute or hot or sexy, like, anime things. Like, they want that. That's what they want. And so if that's what they want, that is what will happen. And we have a whole boom of it now, and these are the most successful. In other words, very interestingly, because of the way patriarchy because of the way patriarchy works in the anime sphere, there's a glass ceiling for men. There's a glass ceiling, not to glaze myself, right? But there's a glass ceiling for, I would say, for male VTubers, where you can only get so successful to a certain degree. You will never be bigger as a male VTuber. Right now, there is no male VTuber that is bigger than a male YouTuber or a male streamer. No one is bigger as a male than if you would just, an alternative that has like a face cam. Likewise, you can also kind of see that female VTubers are incredibly popular, and obviously they're not the only ones at the top of the, you know, streamer, YouTuber consciousness, triangle, pyramid, whatever. There are also people who stream with their face cams and whatnot. But, you know, when you look at the top, you can kind of tell that, coupled with certain ideas of beauty present in this culture and the desire to look upon the conventionally attractive for the straight men. I'm sorry, I was going to stop saying straight men because I say it a lot and people find it annoying, but I think it's important for the point, right? Male obsessed with female obsessed. Yeah. So the TLDR of it is, I'm not an e-boy and I'm sad. And if I was an e-boy, there would still be a glass ceiling for me in reaching a certain level of popularity and enjoyment from people who watch VTuber streams. There would be a glass ceiling if I even gave into the e-boy thing and just wanted to cultivate like a toxic Fujo, like female fan base, or, you know, it could be male as well, like toxic Fudan fan base that just wants to see me like whisper BFE ASMR experiences into the microphone and only interact with other conventionally attractive men. Like, that is trust you'll be a good e-boy ASMR. No. Librarian will fight the gender inequality done against men. Yeah, so what I want to highlight isn't to say that, oh, men have it so bad here in the 2D sphere. No. What I mean is patriarchy affects everyone equally, and it's interesting to see how the effects are sort of a little inversed here in certain aspects, right? All this to say, there is a serious political consciousness, idea present in a male VTuber, not just as a philosopher VTuber, just in any male VTuber, that you have to be aware of. If you're not aware of this, then you're probably not thinking about your craft a lot. And if you're not, then your craft is probably not that good, right? And what I mean is, what I'm saying right here right now may be new to you, or maybe something you don't think about a lot, but this is something that's thought about by I would like to think most male VTubers. they probably think about this thing because it's the thing that affects them. It's very much the thing that affects them. Whether or not they're an e-boy and they want to, cultivate a weird parasocial interaction with their audience base where they whisper boyfriend experience like things into the microphone, or they want to be some dude who's entertaining for the sake of being an entertainer and not at all to appeal to this strange parasocial implication that comes with it. All this to say, Hollow definitely diffs Niji no cap. Not even gonna lie. Genuinely think Hololive's male VTubers are much more interesting than the Niji male VTubers, because the Niji male VTubers kind of end up being a bit too boyfriend experience-y for my flavor, And it's not to say, just because I'm a straight man, I don't like it's not my flavor. It's not that. It's because I want to see entertainment, not boyfriend girlfriend experiences. I don't like the girlfriend experience VTubers either. Like, I don't like the horny VTubers, the too horny VTubers either. Just as a personal taste. So right. So you have an idea that it's not just because I'm a straight man. It's because like I don't enjoy girlfriend experience VTubers either. Anywho, funny thing I want to mention before we get, this is the end of the heavy stuff. Just something I want to light send off to this. That's a good transition. I was looking at my analytics, and my first week of debut was like, I could see traffic. I can see like analytics of like, oh, what videos people were watching before they clicked on my things from the impressions, right? From on my videos or on my live streams. And I think there was like a 20% of it that was just like ASMR content of like, and I saw a video in particular that they listed as an example was like, boyfriend protects you in the woods ASMR or something. So like there are some people watching that and then clicking on my streams or like videos where I'm vehemently shitting on this culture and making them extremely uncomfortable. So YouTube's algorithm is working against me too. This is a battle on 5 fronts I have to fight on. Karis Euphonor, the first and last philosopher VTuber, the last librarian of Alexandria, the mighty, the brave, the courageous, the virtuous, the holier than thou, the greatest alive VTuber. Gotta fight all these battles, you know what I mean? It's hard being a streamer. Oh, it's hard. Oh, it's so hard. Oh, it's so hard being a streamer. And I didn't even like, it's so hard being a streamer who didn't even draw his own character model, who had someone who actually had some sense of artistic talent draw it for him. Lamau, it's difficult. Sorry. Reminds me of the boyfriend experience when we got crashed by a car. I watched that video. Yeah, I saw that. Oh my god, that was kind of funny. Yeah. But all this to say is I know there are very many filters put on me right now, and I know I am standing out here as a very, maybe even controversial. Maybe some people even see this controversial. Maybe my existence itself is a controversy, right? Male VTubers are a controversy in themselves. Why be a male VTuber? Why not just stream with your face cam? Dude. It's difficult. But all this to say, despite all of these difficulties, the fact that you're all here and you're all vibing, you're all enjoying this, you're willing to listen to me rant about this as well, is fascinating to me. It's fascinating that I am not doing this to 0 viewers. Because this is so difficult. Not only is it kind of boring and uninteresting and slow, but it's also really difficult to think about, and it makes you uncomfortable. And it's things you want to just chill. You want to just not have to think about difficult things. But here I am trying to force down intellectual quandaries into your brain. I appreciate that you're all here. Lastly, I would like to send a hate message. I don't know if it's a hate message, but I think I lost a subscriber. I think maybe just I got not Mandela affected, but maybe my memory was just like bad. But I remember having like 67 subscribers to this channel, and then I checked yesterday or the day before, a few days ago, and it was 66. So I was like, oh god, I lost someone, didn't I? I was in my analytics and I saw that no, actually I just kind of peaked at 66. It's kind of been where it is. It's kind of been stagnating since. But I swear to god, I remember it being 67. So it's really weird. I don't know if anyone unsubscribed. Anyone who was initially we having 63 Lamau? Yeah, like, so I could have had 63. So now I'm at 66. I'm pretty sure. If this is the most updated number, it should be 66. But yeah. Hour of silence with bad to the bone riff at random vid in the background for that extra dream-like experience. Wonderful. Perfect. Make the librarian draw and paint TM. Oh goodness. I will not draw. I am not an artist. And like, if you're a VTuber and you have no artistic talent, what are you doing? Well, hello, that's what I'm here to do. I'm the VTuber here with no artistic talent. Maybe you are dreaming. Maybe it's not real. Maybe you are a brain in a jar. Maybe you are dreaming right now and there is no Karasu for no stream. Maybe it's too good to be true. Oh god, this stream's been going on enough. So probably going to you have some talents though. Yeah, but they're not like the conventional VTuber talents, so it's hard to sell. And at the end of the day, you have to sell yourself because you know it's an industry. You gotta be profit. You gotta be sponsorable and marketable. Anyways, not enough of me yapping. Enough of me complaining. Thank you for coming to my complaining stream today. Thank you for coming to me yapping and shitting on the Trolley Problem Inc. That was the main thing you were here for. That was at the beginning of the stream, and then also talking about other things like pop philosophy later. It's not the end all be all to discussion. It's just the floating thoughts in my head right now. I hope it's kind of just comfortable. Maybe my senses lied to me. Yeah, I should consider them fake. Well, I don't know if you should consider them fake, but you should consider the possibility that they are. Thank you for the stream. Yeah, thank you everyone for being here. Gonna end the stream now. We'll talk to. We will be back here soon for more yapping. I'll be streaming Elden Ring on Saturday. Probably. I'll try to stream it. If I can't stream Elden Ring and my PC keeps dying, then I'm going to stream Tears of the Kingdom instead. And if that doesn't work, I'll cry on stream. You know, it'll be great entertainment. And then after that, from the next week onwards, I'm probably going to dial it down to stream a little less because I wanted to give everyone a lot of content at the beginning bit, but I'm going to slow down probably to pace myself in my schedule, balance having to write my master's thesis. And also having to make uploads that are shorter and more digestible, because if you don't make digestible short form content, you don't grow, and this is the rule on YouTube. I have to follow it. It is what it is. I'm playing the game. Elden Ring later. Goodbye, people. Farewell. Have a good day. Elden Ring in 2 days.